I certainly want to salute the members who put together this important caucus. This is an important time in our American political debate. And we at FAIR have been at this quite some time, and I'm pleased to join my distinguished colleagues in a discussion about labor market impacts and immigration. You know, for many, many years, we were told that immigration patterns and flows would follow the labor market, and that at times of high economic growth, we would see an increase in overall immigration and illegal immigration, but then when the labor market downturned and the labor market tightened up, we would see the outflow of those workers and that the labor market would correct itself. Well, empirically speaking, there is some evidence that people here illegally have gone home, but in fact, what we're entering here is an historically unprecedented period in American political history. We have a period of structural unemployment. Total unemployment today is now only at the same level it was in 2007, at the same level as 2001. Since 2007, the U.S. economy has lost about 8.5 million jobs, and there are 18 million fewer people of working age living in the country. In 2001, we've seen a dramatic drop in the overall employment, and at the same time, immigration levels remain at all-time historic highs. Never really before in American history have we seen examples of high levels of immigration, sustained levels, and no obvious end in sight, and even discussions about increasing overall immigration when the labor market is stagnant and contracting. The Obama administration predicted in February 2010 that its economic policies would generate 95,000 new jobs per month. About 100,000 new jobs a month are needed just to keep up with population growth. So to some extent, we as a nation are going to experience a forthcoming political debate, the likes of which we've rarely seen before in American history. And truthfully, it's a time when Americans with less education and less skills have no bargaining leverage of any kind. Now, there's a polarization that's emerged in the political debate that somehow suggests you're either for immigration and whatever amnesties demanded by the other side, or you are against immigration. And of course, that's not why FAIR got into this, and I'm sure my colleagues as well. We need to understand and respect that in order to have a stable society, we have to ensure that there's some modicum of bargaining leverage among the less educated workers out there, people who are suffering the greatest amount of job competition in what appears to be a structural and long-term unemployment situation. Approximately 15%, according to some recent reports, 15% of the people at day labor sites now are U.S. citizens. That's something you would not have seen 5 or 6 years ago. The possibility of having a protracted immigration debate about a mass amnesty when you have 15% of the people at day labor sites American citizens suggests that people are hurting in this country. They're desperate for jobs and they're looking for work wherever they can find it. Ultimately, this is about the American dream and the ability of Americans right across the spectrum in our political society to feel that they're working in a fair labor market where employers are required to hire those who are lawfully authorized to work. It's about trust and respect. It's about trusting that the government has the ability to manage immigration properly, that the laws against hiring illegal workers are going to be enforced properly, that employers, in a sense, have obligations to respect that law. And it's about respecting our political system. It's about respecting the rule of law and respecting our borders, respecting our sovereignty, and respecting us as a people, that we have the self-confidence, if you will, to stand firm and say that our immigration laws can and must be enforced. There are some organizations that argue forcefully that they need to have access to large-scale foreign labor, temporary workers. I mean, we see immigration levels that are now outpacing the job creation ability of the U.S. economy. And FAIR believes that there are exceptional and short-term emergent conditions where temporary foreign labor may actually be appropriate, and we can discuss that if you'd like. But no foreign labor program of any kind is going to work effectively unless the country has the ability to enforce the laws and ensure departure when it's time when the visa expires, when it's time to go back home. We don't have those conditions right now in place. And at a time when we have perhaps 25 million unemployed, underemployed, or discouraged U.S. workers, I feel very strongly that in order to restore faith of the American people, we have to get our system operating again, restore integrity to the rule of law, ensure that once again our borders are secure, to give confidence that American families, American workers, your constituents of your members, their interests are being protected. And that's ultimately not happening right now. So we can discuss a number of these issues at some length, but I've got some panelists who've come along who I think have a lot to tell you that are very important. I'll just conclude by saying ultimately this debate needs to be informed by a dispassionate discussions of the facts and a fundamental recognition that acts have consequences. Allowing employers access to hiring illegal labor, to foreign labor under predatory and exploitative conditions not only negatively affects those workers themselves, but ultimately skews the American labor market. And we've seen this repeatedly. When employers get access to a foreign labor pool, particularly an ongoing one, it has an impact on the future supply and our ability to generate supply from a domestic supply. People don't go into those fields if they don't feel that there are adequate wages and working conditions to attract them. We can't just marginalize entire segments of the American labor market and tell people that they have no future in this country. And indeed, that's what's at stake in our modern political debate. And I hope we're able to continue to develop good information through this caucus to help clarify public understanding. So thank you.